Good Monday morning, and welcome to another episode of Miracles with Mary Ellen. Of course, I'm Mary Ellen, and you can always connect with me through AskMaryEllen.com. And I hope you do that, and I hope you connect with all of my truths of the day that I've been posting over the internet for over a decade. And I hope you connect on Instagram to see all of my fantastic reels I've learned how to put up there. I'm just totally excited because they are so much fun to do. Today's topic on Miracles with Mary Ellen is the miracle of fear. Whoa, Mary Ellen, how can a fear be a miracle? Well, let's look at it. There are many acronyms for fear. The one I like to use is false expectations appearing real, because truly, in truth, fear is false. There are many others. You can Google it, acronym for fear, you'll get pages and pages. But I like false expectations appearing real. Now, fear keeps you stuck. It keeps you from going forward to achieve success. It keeps you from achieving the life that you want. Fear is your reason, it's your excuse that you use to stop yourself. Now, the opposite of fear is love. A lot of times people will say, well, isn't the opposite of love hate? No, not really. See, Jesus calls us to take heart. He says, have courage to stand tall in the name of love. Every day, Christ asks us to be people who love as we conquer fear. Because when we do this, we can come from love. And if we don't do this, fear will conquer us. That's important. Now, since love and fear are opposites, you cannot feel both fear and love at the same time. Now, that was first noted by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. I learned that in one of my psych classes. Because when you are in fear, of course, that's not coming from a loving place. And when you're coming from a loving place, there is nothing to fear. Now, the one truth I can tell you about fear is that when you hold on to your fears, you're giving power to those fears to be created in your life. You're actually setting the stage for those fears to happen. And parents, this is especially true for your children or any family member out there. If you have other family members with a diagnosis and you go, oh my gosh, I'm feared of this for them or whatever, you are giving your fear to that person. You're not going to make them better. You're going to actually make them worse. Parents for children, I used to have parents come into my middle school class and they go, oh, I'm so afraid when they get to middle school, they get into sex, drugs, alcohol, whatever. And I would tell them, if you raise them right and you tell them the consequences and you do the best you can, then drop your fear and always come from love, knowing that they're not going to get into those. Keep them structured with good activities: soccer, baseball, football, cheerleading, choir, band, anything that's out there that is a structured activity that will assist your child to stay structured and keep away from all of the negative stuff that does go through high school. There are all kinds of fears. There are two basic fears. One is a rational fear, and the other is an irrational fear. Now, a rational fear will keep you safe. It's things like, don't jump out of a plane unless you have a tandem instructor with you and both of you have parachutes. A rational fear keeps you safe. It will say, if you're about to do something. I know one time I was working in the yard and I was cutting down by our stream in the backyard, and all of a sudden I heard a rattle. And my rational fear kicked in, thinking, is this a rattlesnake? And very slowly, I don't react because I teach people to respond. I backed away and went back to the house. And yes, it had been a rattlesnake. So your rational fears will keep you safe. Now, your irrational fears will keep you stuck. And those are fears that, You can't do this. You won't do this. Procrastination, laziness, all of those fears that keep you stuck are irrational fears. Now, all fear stems from your mind, your negative emotions, and are linked to the ego. And I'm mainly talking here about irrational fears. They are linked to your ego up here. Now, your ego keeps you stuck. I call ego the devil child, right? So, your ego puts out these irrational fears that, no, you can't speak in front of a group. No, you can't write that. No, you can't do that. It puts all these doubts in your mind and keeps you stuck. Why do you want to stay stuck? If there is anything in your life you want to change your thoughts and get unstuck, risking as you go along. Now, fears must be walked through and is broken down in the Bible many times. It talks about fears and how you must walk through them. One of the ones that I remember is the 23rd Psalm. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff comfort me. See, fear is a weak force. It is very weak, yet we create it as a strong force. No, fear is weak. Love is a much stronger force and always conquers fear. Now, if someone's yelling at you, okay, you go out to the store and someone's yelling at you, hey, you don't have your mask on, hey, this is happening. And you come from love and say, I understand, that's okay. That will break that fear. If they keep coming from fear, allow them to have their fear and simply walk away. Love conquers fear every time. Fear and fear, bonfire time. Fear creates more fear. When you hold on to your fears, you're creating more fear. I equate fear with risking. And I don't mean risking, going hang gliding or jumping out of a plane, which I would like to do some of these days, but my husband won't let me. Anyway, I mean risking, calling someone. Ask yourself, what is the worst thing that they might say? Well, they might say no, or they might not ask you, or whatever. Well, that's what you have right now, right? So go ahead and risk. If you're really passionate about your purposes, I'm really passionate about my books, and I'm really passionate about getting these truths to all of you, then I'm going to risk connecting with everybody out there to get more and more truths of the day or books out there or whatever. Not for me, because it's my purpose. It's my God-given purpose to do that. And this week, I want you to try to drop your irrational fears. Take a breath. Have some faith. All of you go to church. You read the Bible. Yet where's your faith? Take a deep breath and have faith as you drop your irrational fears. In Isaiah chapter 41, verse 13, it says, For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, Do not fear, I will help you. Do you have faith that God will help you? Well, go forward today and have that faith. And connect with me through AskMaryEllen.com, or you can pick up any of my books, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire, which does have a couple of things in there about fear. Truth, Taking Responsibility Unleashes True Healing. My brand new book, Truth Lives. All on Amazon, or you can, with quick links over to Amazon through AskMaryEllen.com. I'll see you on Friday for Mary Ellen's Miracle Moment. And until then, have a great, fun-filled week as you drop those irrational fears. Bye-bye.